Okay, good morning. Welcome to Connected Core. I want you guys to start on your back if you're able to, with your knees bent up. Pregnancy option here would be to sit with your back supported against something, the couch, a wall, and have your legs in like a butterfly position. Okay. Right. Go here. Okay. All right. So put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and start breathing in and out through your nose. When you breathe out, I want you to make some sort of noise. It could be like if you've ever done yoga, some sort of like you're fogging a mirror, making some noise in the back of your throat without opening your mouth. Okay. If that's like not happening, too many things to think about, don't worry about it. Basics here, trying to breathe at least in through the nose. Out through the nose is great. If you have to breathe out through your mouth, totally fine. You've got one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly to give yourself some feedback. Where is that air going? And again, if you are comfortable being on your back, on a yoga mat, relaxed, feet are bent, knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. I may move this down since I don't have anybody to demo today. Cool. We're going to take 5 more breaths here. If you're pregnant, you're up against a wall, you've got your back supported, your butt is on the floor, your legs could even be in like a butterfly position. Okay. Trying to get our shoulders out of our ears, trying to draw some attention to our bodies. If over the next 35, 40 minutes, all you do is lay here and breathe, that is a-okay. This movement practice and core work is designed for you to become more in tune with your body and your nervous system. It's a conversation between you and your body. So part of that is listening to what your body is trying to tell you that it needs. Maybe it needs to just lay here and not move. Maybe it needs to move. So if we're good here with our breaths, I'm going to practice capturing that breath and pressurizing my core, almost getting ready for like a small human or a small dog to come and jump on my belly. I'm bracing. And then that brace is going to allow me to float my arms and my legs up in the air in what we call a dead bug. Okay. A little bit different than a traditional or a physical therapy type dead bug. We're going to turn our knees out a little bit. So I'll turn this way. You guys can see. So I'm now at 90. I've got a soft bend to my arms and my knees, instead of being 90, I'm pointing my knees outward. This is going to help take pressure off the hip flexors and put more demand on the core. Now, if this is not comfortable or if this causes any coning in the front of your abs, any tenting or coning, it might be time to take this to the wall. All right. So from here, can you still do those same breaths? This hand rises. A bonus here, kind of next level, if you have done these before, on your exhales, think about trying to bring the front bones of your pelvis together. So we're inhaling and we're expanding. When you exhale, trying to cinch the lower pelvis bones in towards each other. Okay. Kirsten, don't worry about that. Jordan, if you want to play around with that, cool. So can you have the same kind of inhales and exhales? I'm going to show you the pregnancy modification because some people need this. Bear with me. I can also do all of these movements here. My legs can be in a butterfly. They could also be in a very deep, supported, modified squat position. As we start to move the arms and the legs in this pregnancy, in this usually third trimester, but maybe sooner, just depends, or early postpartum, we're just moving arms. Okay, really focusing on what's happening at the core. So go ahead and add some movement to this if you feel like you've got a solid base. We've got breath into our belly. It's pressurized. That pressure is creating stability. We can float the arms and the legs up in space. We want to keep our core intact. Your low back may flatten a little bit towards the ground, and that is fine. Even good. We're going to start to try to move our arms and our legs opposites. The other opposite arm and leg is staying very still. We're not moving it, not moving all four arms and legs at the same time. So we're going to play around with doing 10 of these. Keeping pressure in your core while you breathe in and out, not holding our breath. This movement is really more about what's happening here, what's being stabilized versus what is moving. So give me about 10 of these, 5 on each side, nice and slow. Beautiful. After you have done those, take a big good morning stretch. Inhale through your nose, exhale it all out through your mouth. Oh, that feels good. Awesome. We're gonna flip it over. So I want you to roll. We always roll. And you look where you want to go first. And then we will flip it over onto all fours. From here, maybe the hips need a little bit of warm up. You can rock them side to side. We're going to go into some gentle cat cows. We'll do about 10 of these, 5 in each direction. Trying to keep elbows soft and bent and pointing outwards, hands pressing down into the ground. Tailbone tucks, shin tucks. Then belly sinks and you look up. And I want you to feel a stretch from the bottom of the chin all the way down to the front of your pelvis on these cat cows. All right. So finding neutral. If you've done, somebody got kicked out, we'll get you back in. There we go. Okay. So if you've done cat cows before, same thing to focus on here in this setup. On your inhale, we want to expand breath into the belly and into the low back in all 360 degrees around. On your exhale, you want to keep that pressure and think about drawing your front of your hip bones in towards each other, kind of cinching them in. We're not sucking in. Subtle difference. Takes a lot of practice to know that difference. If you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, just focus on your inhale. Okay. Pressing down into the ground with all 10 fingers. I have a softness to my elbows that point outward. We're going to start to lift off, putting all your pressure down into one hand and one knee, opposites again. So I'm pressing down into my right hand and my left knee so that my opposites can just hover and float. We're just going to do that for about 10. Okay, trying to keep our shoulders down away from the ears. Hover and float that hand. Good. Take a break. Make sure you're still breathing. You should have felt that really fire up the core, especially the patterns that connect the right to the left and left to the right. Okay, we're going to add in some fun circles now. Because it's not necessarily about what's moving, it's about what's staying stable and activating. We're not going to extend the arms and legs fully out. We're just going to come to that hover position where I am free to move my hand and I'm free to move my knee. And with that lifted, so let's start over. Big belly breath in. Create some pressure in your core. Dump all of your weight into opposite arm, opposite leg to give yourself some stability. Then come and hover. Now we're going to try to make a clockwise circle and then a counterclockwise circle with the arm the hand and the knee before we let it rest. Okay? We're going to wake the brain up today too. Opposite support. Elbows stay nice and bent, shoulders away from the ears. Lift, clockwise, counterclockwise. Can you go opposites? Can you take the hand in clockwise and the leg in counterclockwise? Play with this, okay? We're gonna do each side a few more times. These are hard. I'm out of breath just talking through them. So I'm gonna wake up that brain. Good bird dog position, right? A classic bird dog here is an extension of the opposite arm, opposite leg, all the way out. That full range of motion is not needed for what we are trying to accomplish. We're trying to accomplish this activation of the deep core in this oblique sling, connecting opposites. Okay. Big belly breath in. I'm gonna float my hand in my knee. Take them in a clockwise, take them in a counterclockwise circle, and then drop. Now, if you want a little extra, after you do your clockwise and your counterclockwise, try to move your arm clockwise, your leg counterclockwise. There we go. Whew. Somehow it gets harder for your brain and for your core when you do that. These are kind of fun. Can you get your brain body connection just a little bit more in tune? That's what we're working on here, right? Connected core, trying to get our brain and our body more connected, hopefully so that each of them are more aware of the other. Awesome. You probably are finishing up one more. We'll float. It's like Karate Kid. Right? Wax on, wax off. So, when you're done with those, drop into a resting position. Take some breaths. Maybe a child's pose. Maybe some more cat cows. We're gonna come to a seat and hit some shin boxes. So notice how I can just easily move from that all fours bird dog position to sitting on my butt with my legs in this shin box position. I'm coming back to all fours soon, but I don't want to skip this. Okay. So we've got one leg bent out at 90-ish, 45 to 90 degrees in the front, the other leg out to the side. The leg and the hip that's out to the side, you're probably going to start to feel an intense stretch anywhere from the groin all the way back to the butt, maybe even into the hamstring, adductor, into that medial knee. If this hurts your knee, you can slide a mat, a pillow, a blanket, something underneath here. Okay, we're going to start by windmilling. So using some support coming in and out of this shin box, 90-90. In Pilates, they call this mermaid, which I love. Love that so much more than all of the million different names we have here. People call it a Z-sit. Anyway. So notice how I kickstand my hands. I'm moving the knee, the leg that's out to the side first. That one lifts. I kind of come through middle, come through this deep modified squat, and then I come to the other side. So you can see how this would be called windmills or windshield wipers. My hands kickstanded. Whew, my left one is tighter. So maybe I stay and hang out here for a minute. Take some big deep breaths. Loosen up this hip. We want to keep this dynamic, so don't stay there very long. Let's do a few more. And we're going to try to do it without the support, coming into more of a shin box flow, not a windshield wiper. So I'm using that air and that pressure in my core to keep my spine upright, like I've got a string pulling me towards the ceiling through the crown of my head. Arms being in that dead bug position can help if we imagining we're squeezing something. So squeezing something engages your upper core, your shoulder blades, your pecs. Can you squeeze and hold that imaginary thing, baby, toddler, 30-pound med ball, and kind of swing my legs in and out of that position. If you have something handy that does have some weight to it, that can really help. We're going to do at least 10 total, 5 in each direction. This is what it looks like if you've got weight. I want to hold a weight in close to me. I've got an 8-pound dumbbell here. It's going to help me stay upright and help me access maybe a little bit more range of motion. How does that work? The more counterbalance we have, the more I'm forced to stabilize and activate my deep core. The more I activate my deep core, the more my hips are allowed to move as per my brain. So again, we're brain body connection. Awesome. All of my numbers on these classes are suggestions, okay? So if at any time I give you a number and you're like, I really want to do 10, but you're moving on, go ahead and hit pause if you're doing this recorded. If I say 10 and at 3, you're like, whew, I'm done, then you're done. This is your conversation with your body, okay? So notice how I can come in and out of that all fours and that shin box positioning. Super helpful to be able to get down on the floor without crunching our spine, especially when you're pregnant. We don't want to, I'll take a pause, let everybody get caught up. We don't want, and I can get down without doing a crunch. Look at that. I'm in my dead bug, down on the ground. I can roll. I can come up. I'm in shin box. Use my hands. Now I'm back to all fours. Instead of doing, it's hard and I don't even have a pregnant belly. Okay. It's hard and it's not safe. So meet me back into all fours. Probably getting a little warm now, which I love. Tuck the toes. And we're going to warm up this big toe joint. Okay. Tuck the toes and we're going to do some crouches back. Just to feel a nice stretch. From the big toe into the arch of the foot. Why do we need this? We need this because all of our movements, when we're upright, walking, running, lifting, needs this big toe joint to move as much as it can. These muscles connect all the way up to our pelvic floor. Really play a role in activating our glutes, which is what we're about to do. Okay, so you can take a big breath in. Make sure your arms are in the right position. Their shoulders are down away from the ears. Our elbows are slightly bent. I've got my big breath. If I want to cinch the front of my pelvis bones together, that is a bonus. I'm tucking my toes. I'm squeezing my butt cheeks together before I even start to move. And then I'm lifting my pelvis up into the air. And then back down. Let's do just 10. Ooh, that's a lot. Let's do 6 lifts. I'm capturing my breath and keeping pressure as I lift my knees. They can be an inch or 6. Kind of playing around with what does low and high bear. We call these bear positions. So it's not quite, we're not quite going into a yoga down dog, which is where I would try to get my back flat and head in line with shoulders. I'm not there. I do want to keep this space between my ears and my shoulders. And this is very upper body engaging as well. My shoulders and my arms have to work to support me just as much as my glutes. So I'm going to notice my lifts can look different. You do want to lift with control and lower with control. If you feel like you have to crash into the ground, don't go up as high the next time. Really focus on slowing things down, making sure that you are breathing, squeezing your butt, getting your deep core turned on. Should be slow and controlled. I was moving a little fast. We're doing about 10 of those, and then you're going to drop into a resting position to catch your breath. How we doing? All right, so we've done some dead bugs for a modification of bird dogs, some shin boxes. We've done some cat cows. We have done some low/high bear positioning, which is great. So we've hit 5, maybe 6 of the birth fit basics here. Cool. We're going to go into another one from that high bear position. Okay, we're going to walk into a low squat. So we got starting all fours. Bird dog. Gotta tuck the toes.
I have to go low bear and then high bear. My pelvis comes up. I'm still not in a down dog. From here, I want to take a pause and see if I can still breathe low, down and low into my pelvis. And then I'm going to start to walk the feet in towards the hands in towards the feet as my pelvis drops, and see if I can get into a low squat. And take an inhale and an exhale. And then I'm just going to walk right out of it. Back down to all fours. I'm taking a rest if I need to. Okay. Your low squat may not go all the way down, and that's okay. What if I can only get to here? That's fine. My arms can hang out and rest on my thighs. And I can take a big belly breath, trying to press the creases of my belly into my thighs. Most important thing here is that my spine is staying neutral. Okay, so my back is flat. In time, you'll be able to go low. Same thing here. If we can get here, I want to keep my spine straight. I don't want to round it. And I want to be able to take that big belly breath. I'm not standing up out of here just yet. I'm just using my hands for support, walking myself back down to all fours. Okay. Give me 2 more of those. We're playing around with some movement here. Okay. Remember, this is a conversation with your body. So if you learn in this conversation that something is not happening, we're not working, we're not connected, that's not a bad thing. That's the goal, to have some more awareness of what's going on in your body. Good. Awesome. We're going to cycle back through and revisit everything that we just did. Kind of put it together in a little bit of a flow. Okay. Not as much or not as many as we did in the beginning. So meet me back on your back. We've hit a lot of the birth basics here. 1, foundational, is our breath. We just got probably a little bit of heat going. So totally a great moment to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Let it all go. Shake it out. Okay, now I'm inhaling and creating pressure. And then floating my arms and my legs up in the air. Maybe playing around, maybe just holding this and breathing. Maybe starting to play around with some movement. Opposites. Maybe this was easier when we started. As your arms and your legs move away from each other, try to bring your rib cage and your pelvis towards each other. Same principles if you're doing this on your butt, seated with your back supported. As your arm moves away from you towards the wall, your rib cage gets pulled down towards your pelvis. Okay. All right, so notice my roll. I'm on my back. I want to look where I want to go. And then I'm just kind of tipping over like a rotisserie chicken, pushing myself up into a seat. Let's stop here because this is transition. So we'll mix up the order a bit. Now I'm in my shin box. So maybe a couple more windshield wipers, or if those felt easy. Maybe doing it without your hands supporting you. I'm giving you movements and kind of a flow and a sequence. If one thing feels really good and you're like, I want to spend more time here, you can spend more time there. If you're the type of person who really needs some structure and really wants reps and sets of 10 work, 5 on each side. From here, from my shin box, I can tip my hands over and easily come to my all fours. Another birth basic movement is the cat-cow, a classic, a staple. Moving your spine through flexion and extension. Tucking the chin. Feeling a stretch all the way from the chin to the pelvis. And then when I arc up, I want to press between my shoulder blades. The highest point of my arc here needs to be in between my shoulders. Good. All right. And then from here, we can add our breath, our pressure, pushing down into the earth. Opposite arm, opposite hand, just comes to a hover. If I want to try the full extension, I go for it. Hover first, and then extend. If those feel good, I'm ready to add in my circles. And clockwise, counterclockwise. I switch one direction and then switching the opposite direction. Whew. That's tough. Other side. Start with hover. Hands are both going counterclockwise, clockwise. I switch my knee direction. Oh, I can't do it. That side's way harder. Just gonna wake up the brain too. Okay. So we're playing lots of things that we can do here in our bird dog. You can do those circles with the arm and the leg extended. Much harder in a sense. You want to try to move from the shoulder and the hip joint. A lot of demand on the core there. Take breaks as you need to, keep breathing. Awesome. And now we're already in all fours, so I can tuck the toes and play around with my bears and my squats. Take a breath in, pressurize my core. I bring my rib cage down a little bit towards the front of my pelvis. Tuck the toes, squeeze your butt, lift and hover the knees. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Slowly lower down. Soft landings. Yeah, try to go a little higher, keeping this pressure in my glutes. How do you know you've gone up too high? If you feel your quad muscles start to turn on, you've gone up a little bit too high, and now we're jumping into the anterior chain. We want to keep this posterior. We want to keep the muscles in the back working and our back of our legs, hamstrings, glutes, and not the quads. some squats. Can I take a big deep breath? Let's come back to the ground, walking yourself in and out of those positions. Do one more. One more low bear, to a higher bear, to a walk, to some version of a squat. Let's come back down. And then walk it back into a resting position. So back could be supported against a wall, or we can come back down to the ground. My legs can fall open into a butterfly. They can be straight up, straight out. They can be bent, whatever feels best. One hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. Close your eyes. Breathe in and out through your nose. Just notice what sensations are moving through your body. You can keep breathing. Just like in a conversation with a person, you're listening to listen, not necessarily listening to respond. So this, when I say listen to what your body's saying or just pay attention to what sensations are popping up, it's not to attach a judgment to that. Oh, my legs are sore. Oh, I'm out of breath. There's no comment after that. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is bad. I'm not here to judge how our bodies show up today. We're here to listen to them. Right. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this little birth fit flow. I'm just going to stop the recording, Kirsten.